Hey, what's up guys? Thanks for stopping by and checking out my video. This is the all new 2021 Kia Telluride SX, and it has that awesome new Nightfall package on it. So let's do a little bit of history on the Kia Telluride. Came out 2 years ago, and to be perfectly honest, when they announced this vehicle was coming to market, I questioned whether Kia was going to be able to pull off such a successful sport utility vehicle. Well, they have. North American SUV of the Year, Motor Trend SUV of the Year, Car and Driver 10 Best 2 years in a row, World Car of the Year 1 year in a row. This vehicle has received more awards than any other SUV in the market over the past 2 years. Why? Well, let's just start with the name, Telluride. It's really cool, right? They didn't even mess around. They put the logo right on the front of this thing, big and bold, because they wanted to say, look, we're Kia. And we're seriously kicking some butt in the marketplace. So let's break this vehicle down and take a closer look. If this Kia Telluride, the 2021 with the Nightfall edition or the Nightfall package, is something you might want to park in your driveway. So here's how we're going to break this down. We're going to talk about the Nightfall package, but we're also going to talk about the general SX version of the Kia Telluride as well. So let's start with a little bit of the Nightfall package. The first thing, and of course the name Nightfall indicates everything that you're going to get with this, they blacked out this entire thing, a la Murdered Out. And I love what they've done. So you're going to that tiger nose grille up on the front, which is synonymous with all Kias. They've blacked out that Kia grille. They've put a dark gray Telluride logo on the front, and if you just look at the complete front end of this, it's all dark and black. But I want to focus right here for a minute, the headlights on this vehicle. Not only do you have daytime running lights that are in a square and they're LED, but then you also have your actual running lights right here, your actual headlights that are also LED recessed in here as well. And I love the design, right? This whole design right here is just a really cool modern look. When you see this square coming down the road of lights, you automatically know that this is a Kia Telluride. A couple other things that you want to point out that are noteworthy up on the front. So this thing's got cameras all up on the front and sensors. So here's your front camera. This will be used for a couple different things. It'll be used for pedestrian detection, which these sensors down here will as well. It'll be used for adaptive cruise control. And it'll also be integrated into the autonomous feature that the Kia Telluride has, which is still one of the best ones in the market. If you look at the front hood of this, and I apologize, it's dirty because we have taken this thing out in the dirt, we've taken it out in the snow, we've taken it out in the rain. So why not give you a vehicle, instead of it being all shined up, we give you one that's a little bit dirty. But even with the Nightfall package, what it does is it pulls out all of these contours in the vehicle. And I love how they've been able to do that. By pulling out those contours, it gives it a very specific look. Also, talking about those cameras, you can see them up in here. They've got the sensors mounted into that windshield to make it incredibly clear and clean for you to see. If we make our way back around on the front of this vehicle, I think there's one more thing that I want to point out, and you're going to see this, is that it looks low to the ground. So when you think about competition in the marketplace, even something like the Range Rover Velar, which is almost double the price, right, when you get them fully loaded, this thing's going to start at $32,190, and that makes it incredibly affordable from an entry-level standpoint into the SUV market. Let's take a look at what the side profile of the Kia Telluride looks like. So if you want to compete in the luxury sport utility vehicle category, there are a variety of design cues that you're going to have to do, and Kia accomplished it with this Telluride right here. So I just want to run through the design aspects of this vehicle that make it sporty and give it a performance-oriented look, and frankly, make it something where everyone across the country who's in the market for a sport utility vehicle are looking at this. It's in everybody's top 5 list. So here's some design cues to kind of pull you through. So first off, if you go back to 2012, when Audi introduced the A7 into the market, even though that's a sedan, it's got that hatch on the back, but the back of the vehicle raked down. It was really the first time you saw this A-pillar, B-pillar, C-pillar. Between the B-pillar and the C-pillar, you started to see it rake down in the back. And when it started to rake down, Audi figured out, man, that gives the vehicle such a performance-oriented stance. So then they did it with their Q7, their sport utility vehicle. Range Rover's done it with their Velar. They've done it with their Range Rover Sport. And now you're seeing even vehicles like the Lincoln Aviator and the Lincoln Corsair all have this kind of raked roofline in the back. What that does is it just makes the vehicle look sporty and gives it a performance look. And I think that's one of the design cues that everyone likes about this vehicle. Again, Nightfall package on this, you're going to see black and grays all the way down. I want to highlight some design features on this that are subtle, but I like, especially with the Nightfall package, because it kind of pulls out that look. So you're going to see this kind of cool little design indentation feature in here that silhouettes the side of the vehicle. And if you bring it down, you're going to see it. It comes down and then comes all the way right to about here and kind of rakes itself before it moves into the wheel well right here. I just think that's a subtle design cue that I particularly like. I see it every time I look at the car. If you look around the windows, you've got this silhouetted, it's almost like a dark chrome piece, but it's not chrome, it's like a blacked out chrome. And this silhouettes the entire window on the side of the vehicle. I also like this minor little uptick. They could have come straight through here with one line, but they came up, came across, and dropped it right down, right along that B pillar. And then they made these both the same color, it just kind of falls right in line and gives it a good look. Door handles, same color, monochromatic with the paint of the vehicle as well. I do want to point this out. You've got the nice easy push button, so I can lock the car and unlock the car. And when you do that with key fob in my pocket, it actually brings your mirrors and folds them in. So how cool is that, right? So if you're gonna lock this car and go inside, it's automatically popping these in for me. You'll see the LED lights right here. And of course, when I pull this out, you'll be able to see the sensor. This is your side sensor right here. This is for lane departure warning. And what's really cool is that when you're in the vehicle and you hit the left turn indicator, a computer screen digital will pop up in front, and this camera activates video. So you can see alongside of the vehicle. It's so cool. You don't even have to look over your shoulder. You just push the button down or push the turn signal down, and it pops up right in front of you. You can see cars that are right there next to you. All right, close it out with this right here. So with the Nightfall package, it's all about the wheels and tires as well. That's part of the package. And now in the world of cars and trucks, you always see people going out and buying aftermarket wheels and tires. Well, with the Telluride, you don't have to do that. They've gone with a 245/50, and it's a Michelin tire. That's incredibly relevant because when you have a vehicle where you want to compete in that luxury SUV category, you want to put on Pirellis, you want to put on Michelin's tires that are of quality. Well, they did it with this right here. And then the best part is they mounted it with a 20-inch wheel. So there are 20-inch wheels on this thing that give it really a standout look. Speaking of tires and going off-road, let's take a look at what's under the hood. So one of the questions that I've always wondered is, how does an automaker get to a base level price, like a starting price? And with the Kia Telluride, it starts at $32,190. But how did they get to that price? Especially given the fact that it's won so many different awards. It has lane departure warning, front crash avoidance, rear pedestrian detection. It even has autonomous driving features in it that allow you to take your hands off the wheel. And this Nightfall package is stunning. So how do they get that base level, the first model that a consumer can buy, which happens to be a 3-row smaller SUV, right? Well, here's how they do it. It starts right here under the hood. This is a 3.8 liter gas direct injection motor. It'll have 291 horsepower with 262 pounds-feet of torque, and it's mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission. So why is that relevant? It's relevant because when the vehicle's coming down the assembly line at the assembly plant, the factory, there's only one engine option for this vehicle. And that means they get to save a little bit of money, especially in the manufacturing process. You're not putting 3 different options in. You're not giving consumers options to pick on different motors. But that's okay. See, I love that because I don't need to go fast in this vehicle. I need a grocery getter that looks really cool. I want a vehicle I can go up to the mountains with all-wheel drive and make my way through the snow. I want to know that I have a sport button on the inside where if I want to go a little bit faster, I can do it with this vehicle. So if you keep it just to this one motor, it simplifies the process. And by the way, speaking of driving modes, let's get inside and talk about what some of those driving features are. So here, sitting from the captain's seat on the inside of the Kia Telluride with the Nightfall package, are a host of features that I really want to point out that I love about this vehicle. So let's start with design. Right across the front, you're greeted with this really cool wood grain dashboard, and I love this centerpiece. It just kind of stands out as being higher quality and luxury. You have the stitching look up here on the top of the dashboard, which also gives you that concept or feel of luxury. But then you're really looking at some cool technology when you start to talk about touchscreens. So the entry-level base version will come with an 8-inch touchscreen. This one right here is a 10.25-inch touchscreen as well. And one of my favorite features is right here. You have the sounds of nature. So this right here is actually the sounds of a wood fireplace in the middle of winter. If you're out on a cold night and heading home from dinner, crank up the warm fireplace sound in the car to create that kind of in-car ambiance. As we make our way down, there are a host of incredible features in here as well. I do like the grab handles right here on the side. I like the fact that there are heated and cooling seats that are very visible. I know in a lot of cars, they kind of tuck those away up into the dash panel cluster. But they're right here and easy to grab. Down here, you have this nice little hatch that opens up, and you'll have USB-C charging. And there are actually two of them in here, one for the driver, one for the passenger. One charges, one connects you directly to the head unit on the vehicle for your entertainment, so you can stream music off of your phone directly. And then you have wireless induction charging down here. Simply toss your phone in there, and away you go. On the center panel here of your Telluride, you've got these 5 different features I've talked about in regards to driving modes. So what's really cool, and I'm going to turn the car on here because it's going to illuminate everything in here. You'll hear the chimes, of course, and the vehicle will run through a system check. You have the comfort mode, the sport mode, the smart mode, the snow mode, and the eco mode. So what I like is that when it's mated with that 3.8 liter V6 under the hood, it's not a big motor. They only make one option as noted with that motor, but you put it in the sport mode with that 8-speed transmission and the vehicle really takes off. It makes it fun to drive. There's no clutter up here on the instrument panel as well. It's very straightforward. You have all of your nav feature, your radio, your media, your map, all the things that you want up in here that also work as a dual purpose on this functional screen up here. And then you have your cooling systems down here. On the steering wheel, very simple. You have 4 push buttons on each side. And then you have a toggle switch in the middle with another push button and toggle switch. That's all for your various forms of technology and cruise control. So let's talk about technology as well. This vehicle starting at $32,190, as you make your way up through trim levels, you'll have options. This one has what's called Kia's DriveWise package. And I love the DriveWise package, which is actually their driver assist technology. So as it even says right here on their documentation for this specific car, which is the SX, you're going to get the blind spot collision avoidance, the rear cross traffic alert, the forward collision, the highway driving assist, lane keep assist, and all of those other features that you would expect in a really high-end vehicle, and you get it with the Kia Telluride. Now, this is the SX package, so it does come with the DriveWise, and this is a $50,000 vehicle. But again, really cool that you have the ability to utilize all of this technology on the inside of the car. I think that is what makes it really cool. And I'll close it out with this. If you put the vehicle into reverse or drive, and I'm just going to hold my foot on the brake pedal, up here on the touch screen, you actually have the ability to view all the various cameras. There's 2 cameras on the mirror, there's a camera on the rear, and a camera up on the front. And then a camera mounted up here in your rear view mirror as well. So you have the ability to look around the car. In fact, you can even see, it's a cool chilly morning here in Tennessee. You can see the fumes from the exhaust on the back of the vehicle when I look down on top of the car from a 360-degree view angle. So you have this ability to look at the car, and then when you put it in drive, that was reverse, when you put it in drive, you can hit those view cameras again, and it's going to show directly in front of me. I see the road in front of me. It also will show where the lanes, the 2 tires will go, so it's actually kind of tire monitoring. Side direction, so I can see down the sides of the vehicle as well. So they really give you the sense of sitting in a captain's chair and having the ability to see everything happening around the vehicle. I'm going to shift it back into park there so I don't slide away. So to close it out, we always look at a vehicle from the front 3/4 angle, but for this Telluride, I wanted to close it out with that rear 3/4 angle because I think the vehicle is just so sexy and super cool. And with that Nightfall package, it really makes this thing stand out and will allow it to compete with a ton of luxury SUVs. Again, starting price $31,290 for the entry-level edition, and you'll be able to top it out right around, did I say $32,290? $32,190. You can top it out just under $50,000 with the fully loaded SX all-wheel drive Nightfall edition. Hope you enjoyed this video. Click below if you like this. Leave comments. This is our second video on the Kia Telluride. We did it 2 years ago when it launched, and now we're doing it in 2021.